What's the Better Business Bureau all about? Find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the Better Business Bureau of Coastal Carolina and the American Red Cross chapter of Horry County. And we're visiting with John Trudeau, who serves really in two titles in those organizations. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for being with us. Obviously, you're the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of a 15-county market. And, of course, with the American Red Cross, you're the chairman of the board, very active volunteer with the group.
Right, I'm very honored not only to be president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of Coastal Carolina, where we cover, like you mentioned, 15 counties, but as a volunteer, I'm the chapter chair this year for the Horry County chapter of the American Red Cross, and quite a task that is.
Right, totally apropos right now with the hurricane having hit us about 10 days ago, having just smashed this area, and of course so much going on.
We were blessed. We really were. Feel bad about the people in Florida and what the devastation that took place there. We were hit very lightly with the storm here in Horry County, but certainly we had our moments. There was some situations that needed attention. Yeah. During that time, we had about, it was over 2,000 people that we had to take in our 10 shelters throughout the county.
Wow.
Over 2,000 people, and we served over 3,000 meals to those 2,000 people, and also helped some people at the airport that were stranded overnight, and some different situations, people that were flooded out of their homes, and very fortunate we were able to help these people through that situation.
John, the Red Cross does so much. How do y'all go about committing so much to the community with very limited resources?
That's a great question. It really boils down to a great staff on hand, number one, and number two, a tremendous volunteer base. The volunteers we have at the American Red Cross are just absolutely fantastic people, and they really step up to the plate when they're needed, and they show up and they do the job and they help out, and without the volunteer base we wouldn't be where we are today. Of course, we're a situation where we are a charitable organization, the Red Cross, and we need that financing to help us keep going. It probably cost us around $30,000 for Hurricane Charlie in the aftermath of that, just in this area. So we're looking for some assistance from the community to support us if they want to send any kind of donations to the Horry County chapter of the American Red Cross. That'll help cover those $30,000 in expenses. And if they want to, consumers want to help out the victims in Florida, they would make out the check to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. So there's a difference.
Right.
You have to specify if you want it locally or if you want to go to disaster relief on a national basis.
And on the local side, would they just make it out to the American Red Cross?
Yes, sir. On a local basis, they make it out to the American Red Cross Horry County chapter, or if they're in Georgetown, they can make it out to American Red Cross Georgetown chapter.
Okay, and for our viewers in the PD in southeastern North Carolina, assumably they could do similar things, obviously, make it out to the chapters in those communities. If someone wanted to learn more, is there a number for the Red Cross? Is that off the top of your head, John, to call? And sorry, I caught you off guard, but someone could call you at the Better Business Bureau, and you could pass them on there.
Well, they could call the Red Cross direct at 477-0020.
Okay, great. I didn't catch you off guard.
477-0020.
To find out where they would want to mail that check, or just to see about volunteer opportunities.
Yes.
And there's a ton of them.
A ton of volunteer opportunities. And we had, like I said, we opened 10 shelters, and we're always in need of additional help at the shelters when these types of situations arise, and certainly if people want to get information about training courses for CPR or any of those types of things.
You know, there's so many groups to volunteer with in an area, John. It is amazing how, even just this week, with you coming in today, and obviously talking about the American Red Cross, Gail Olive on Wednesday, Habitat for Humanity, and Lance Thompson this Thursday about the upcoming Heart Walk there. And last week we were at Brook Green Gardens, and so many opportunities to volunteer down there. There's just so many places in town. You've just got to find a couple and really wrap around them, and you've truly done just that.
Well, I think everybody should get involved in their community in one way or another, and volunteerism is the best way to do that. And I've chosen some charities that I want to work with, and I'm, again, very proud to be a part of these situations, and I encourage people to go out and do some volunteer work. You get so much more out of it than you put in it. Yeah, the satisfaction level is great.
I think I saw you were listed, John, as the Optimist of the Year with the Grand Strand Optimist Club a few years back.
That was 2001. That was Optimist of the Year. It was a lot of fun. Got involved in a lot of things with the Grand Strand Optimist Club, which is, again, a great organization. Do a lot of good stuff, and that's all about kids. And all the projects, service projects we do at the Optimist Club benefit children. So that's easy to get involved with in that situation. And the people in that club are great.
They do so much. You're exactly right. And, of course, part of the excitement, a couple weeks ago, Mary Jo Rogers was with us highlighting some of her involvement for an upcoming Wish Ball, the Wish Ball, which was held the weekend of the hurricane. And, of course, we were talking about, with Mary Jo, her involvement as the chairman of y'all's board for the Better Business Bureau and the golf tournament you're having on September 15th, and then her involvement with the Grand Strand Optimist Club in a big video that night to prevent drunk driving the night before, down at the Magic Attic on September 14th. So a heck of a lot going on. And that segues a little bit into y'all's golf tournament. Made me think about that. That swaps over to the Better Business Bureau. But y'all have a 5th annual golf tournament coming up.
That's right, Greg. We've done this golf tournament. This, like you say, this will be the 5th year for it. It just benefits some of the programs and services that we provide at the Better Business Bureau. It's at Myrtle Beach National Golf Course. It's a Wednesday afternoon, September the 15th. I think it's a 1 o'clock shotgun start, or 2 o'clock shotgun start. They have a lunch beforehand, prizes galore, and it's open to the public. You don't have to be a member of the Better Business Bureau. General public can join, come out, have fun, and participate. $60 per person.
Yeah, I saw that. Very reasonable.
Very
to get
reasonable.
On the Myrtle Beach National and get lunch included. And,
lunch, Myrtle
1
Beach
o'clock.
National, prizes. It's a lot of fun. Good times.
Are you a big golfer, John?
Well, I love the game of golf. I've been involved in athletics all my life, and golf is the one game that has totally humbled me.
Is that right?
Absolutely. I am not a good golfer. I'll be the first to admit it, but I love the game.
Yeah. For non-golfers, when they hear about someone being humbled by golf, that just means that it's difficult to conquer the sport.
Well, Golf Dimensions loves me because I buy a lot of golf balls.
I think I also saw, speaking of balls, John, don't you hold a bowling ball on a pretty regular basis?
I do. Very much involved in the bowling community. Had some successes there and a lot of luck, and very fortunate to bowl with some of the area's top bowlers, Bob Reed, Steve Reed, people like that, Larry Thomas, Gary Conley. Real happy with the bowling.
I think I saw you were the former South Carolina State bowling, maybe senior bowling champion.
Senior.
Not to put years on you, John. You do have a few white hairs there, but not to put any years on you. That's very exciting.
It was. Again, I think it was in 2001. It was in my age bracket for seniors, and had the opportunity to represent South Carolina out in Reno in the Nationals.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
How'd that go?
That was, well, it was out of that. It ended up in 4th place.
Really?
Again, very lucky, very fortunate, had a lot of fun, and being able just to represent the state of South Carolina was really exciting.
That is huge, John. In Reno, Nevada.
Oh, yeah.
My God, you placed 4th nationally.
Yes, sir.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was all happy with it.
What's the thrill about bowling? If someone's never been out bowling, what motivates you to get out there? If you're as spoken as an avid bowler.
I would have to say more than anything, it's the camaraderie that you achieve with your fellow bowlers. We have so much fun interacting with each other and cutting up and just having a good time.
This is male and female.
Oh, yes.
Those slick shoes, that must be great. I haven't bowled in forever, John.
You got to come out sometime. I'll take you out there. We'll do a couple lessons, have a great time.
You like those words that start with a B. Bowling, Better Business Bureau. Obviously, golf doesn't, but hitting golf balls in the water sure does. What about, not to jump from thing to thing, John, you're just involved in so many things, and it sounds like 2001 was a huge year for you, recognized as the state champion in that senior league in bowling, and also Optimist of the Year. So a big year for you, and, of course, getting involved in the American Red Cross.
Absolutely. The Red Cross has been good to me. Again, you meet so many wonderful people, and not only the volunteers, but the staff, and being able to interact with the community. It's just a wonderful organization, Greg.
Mm-hmm. Big focus, of course, on the Better Business Bureau, John. I think so few folks probably have a full understanding of exactly y'all's mission, what y'all are laid out to do. And, of course, when you said that 15-county market, much of that is in our viewing area. So, of course, you're speaking to a heck of a lot of either members or potential members or folks who may know members. Why would someone need to be involved in the Better Business Bureau, and what exactly do y'all do?
I can answer that in about 7 hours.
Great.
But I'll try
take your time.
We've only
got about 20 more minutes. Yeah.
I'll try to capsulize that somewhat. The Better Business Bureau is a nonprofit organization. We're not a charity, but we're a nonprofit organization. A lot of people, if they don't know, they think that the Better Business Bureau might be a government agency.
Yeah.
And we're certainly not. We're funded by businesses who want to believe in and support ethics in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. We're all about self-regulation, voluntary self-regulation in the marketplace, and not government action. If you end up having the government try to tell you how to run your business, then we're going to end up with a lot more expense in the long run. The government's going to tell us how to do everything. But voluntary self-regulation really does work. If we have some time, I'll talk about one of those situations, and that's our advertising review program.
Yes, yes.
Part of the backbone of the Better Business Bureau is I'll say three things that really the prominent things are number one, inquiries. Okay, we get this year we'll probably push 200,000 inquiries from consumers and businesses looking for information about a company that they're thinking about doing business with. Now, these are people that are ready to make a buying decision, and they're just looking for what we call our reliability report on a company before they make their buying decision. Mm-hmm. So we get a tremendous amount of inquiries. We report on member and non-member companies. It doesn't make any difference. Mm-hmm. And certainly, another part of what we do is what we call the complaint aspect or dispute resolution. There are situations when consumers have purchased a product or a service, and for some reason or another they're dissatisfied and they haven't been able to receive any satisfaction from the company. Mm-hmm. So they come to an objective third party, which is the Better Business Bureau, and say, can you help us resolve this dispute? And then we contact the company in question with the problem and ask for their response. And again, voluntary self-regulation takes care of the vast majority of these situations, and ultimately the consumer and the business are both happy with the end resolution in most cases. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and to go back into the advertising review is somewhat of a backbone. That's how, in part, the Better Business Bureau system emanated. There were what they called vigilance committees back in the early 1900s that reviewed fraudulent and deceptive advertising practices.
Right.
So, and from those vigilance committees was formed the Better Business Bureau system. And we, to this day, review local advertising practices without naming the industry. Early this year, we held what we call an advertising forum, and we invited members of a specific industry to meet with us, and along with people from, for example, the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs. And we did a little training session on what you can and cannot do legally in advertising in that particular industry. And at that time, I would say about 95% of the businesses in that industry were not in compliance with state and federal laws.
Really?
Right. So in less than 8 months, we've taken that 95%, and it's probably closer to 98% now that are in compliance with state and federal laws.
In how many months, John?
In 8 months.
In 8 months, y'all went from a certain industry having 95% non-compliance with their advertising in issues that would potentially pop up, and you've entirely flipped that.
Entirely. We're extremely proud of what we've done in that respect, and and I think we've gained the respect of the people in that industry also. They've worked very well with us, and again, it's voluntary self-regulation. We made them aware of some of the issues that were presented, and they took it and they just ran with it. And they
Well, now there's got to be a number of non-members within whatever that industry is. There's got to be a number of non-members as well. I mean, how do they find out to make sure that they're also? How do you go about getting the word out to them to make sure that they're also within compliance if they're non-members? You contact them equally.
We contact them equally. We'll send them a letter, and we'll make them aware of what advertisement on what page and what newspaper or media,
Right.
And on what date, and the specifics of what they were not in compliance with,
Right.
and ask them to voluntarily modify or drop those claims unless they can substantiate the claims.
Mm-hmm. Again, that can be, it requires you and the folks within the Better Business Bureau to be entirely on top of multiple forms of advertising, John: television, radio, print, outdoor, banner planes, I mean, everything, just signs on the side of buildings. Really requires you all to be on top of that, as well as contacting clients or advertisers themselves who are then asked to change out a copy of an ad. Can be cost prohibitive at times, I'm sure, for small business. So that's a difficult thing.
It is. And we have one of the people on our staff, and by the way, the staff at the Better Business Bureau is just absolutely fantastic. Without these people, I wouldn't be able to be here today or do some of the things I do, because they're just incredible. Keith Heinel is our operations man, and he does a lot of the advertising review. And Keith is really on top of the situation. He works with these advertisers. You go out and talk to them. He'll take care of it on the phone, through email. We're really, really happy with the way that's going.
And did Keith have a background in advertising beforehand? I mean, was he able to really look in from the inside out, or is he coming and now overseeing all mediums?
He has come in and has taken the appropriate training courses,
Right.
and is again, just absolutely doing a great job with that.
Mm-hmm. Of course, with y'all, now the Better Business Bureau of Coastal Carolina, as you mentioned, 15 counties there, but you're based here in Myrtle Beach, travel to Fayetteville, travel to Wilmington, travel to Hartsville, and many of the outer areas there. You're on the road quite a bit then, John.
Yes, I am. Burn up the road.
Yeah.
We cover 7 counties in South Carolina. That's Horry, Georgetown, Marion, Dillon, Florence, Darlington, and Williamsburg. And in North Carolina, we cover 8 counties from Wilmington to Fayetteville.
Mm.
So there's a lot out there, and it's a never-ending process.
Yeah, you've really got to stay on things and stay on top of the advertising in those markets. I mean, for instance, in television, you're talking about 4 separate TV markets there: the Wilmington market, the Raleigh-Durham Fayetteville market, the Myrtle Beach Florence market, and of course Williamsburg County falls in the Charleston TV market alone. Now, when you're talking about daily newspapers or weeklies, I mean, you're serving hundreds of print vehicles. I mean, I don't know how y'all do that.
It's not easy.
Yeah, John, do you mind me asking how large y'all's staff is?
We have 4 people.
Is that right?
4 people. That's it. And certainly we'd like to add more, but as our membership rolls increase and our budget increases, and we can go from there. One of the things that people say to me, well, we don't have, for example, we don't have a Better Business Bureau here in Darlington, or we don't have a Better Business Bureau here in Lumberton. Well, the answer to that is, yes, you do. It's the Better Business Bureau of Coastal Carolina. It would not be prudent to have a physical office location in every city within our 15-county location or service area.
Right.
So the main office is in Myrtle Beach. We do have a satellite office out of the Cotton Exchange in Wilmington. We'd certainly like to have offices in every city we're in, but it wouldn't be prudent of our membership dollars.
Easy for folks to get in touch with you, the 843-626-6881 number.
Right.
Also going online.
Going online, and they go to www.carolina.bbb.org. And you can pull up a report on any company in our database just through our website. And there's also a tremendous amount of helpful information on our website also.
And you mean non-members can pull that up?
Absolutely.
Anybody can go to carolina.bbb.org and check out member, as well as, I mean, you can check out the 800-plus members you have in the Coastal Carolina chapter.
Right.
Can you also find out reports about folks who are in non-compliance in areas?
Certainly.
Okay.
We have reports on thousands of businesses in our database.
Wow.
And some of them are members and some of them are not. So we report either way.
Of course, I printed off a page from y'all's website last night, John, and see on there about our Bureau, member companies, consumer tips and info, local and state agencies, national Better Business Bureaus, and more. And, of course, complaint reports, complaint forms, and how to become a member. But the complaint reports must be something. Inquiries and complaints must take up a heck of a lot of your time.
We have a gentleman working with us by the name of Chuck Hahn. And Chuck came to us in January with a background in let's say a great background, okay? Without going into that, I won't embarrass Chuck. Great guy. And he has taken on the dispute resolution part of what we do. And this year, Chuck will process, I should say, close to 3,000 formal complaints from consumers who have had a problem, and they're looking for assistance. Plus, we have what we call a BBB Auto Line program. It's about arbitrations, and every month we have probably at least 2 arbitrations on what we call new vehicles, okay? And the value of those arbitrations this year will probably exceed $750,000. So there's a lot of responsibility there, a lot of work to be done, and we have a situation where anytime a complaint comes in, we have to turn that complaint around and send it to the company in question within 2 days and close it out one way or another within 30 days. These are part of the standards that we're required to maintain. And Chuck is just has been right on top of things, and he's got us where we need to be.
How did complaints come in, John? Just that simple thing. We got about 5 minutes. How does a complaint come in, and what is an example of something that someone would complain about?
Very good. Complaints have to be in writing one way or another. So they can write to us at the Better Business Bureau, or they can do it online because they go to the website. They can have information to fill out the complaint online. That's the easiest way to do it and the fastest way to do it if you have internet access to do it online. And we need the name, address, and telephone number of the company in question, and we certainly need the name, address, and telephone number of the consumer filing the complaint, because we don't process an anonymous complaint. The company has the right to know who it is that's complaining about them so they can address the situation. Oh, well, that must have been Mr. Everett. Okay, well, I remember Mr. Everett was here, and this is what happened. And so, and we certainly need a capsule information of what the experience with that company was, why you're complaining, and what you're seeking as a resolution. Don't just complain. Well, what do you expect to receive as resolution from this matter? So we ask for a lot of information, but again, the quality of the information will dictate the quality of the response.
Okay, that's very important. So in the complaint form that you'd have online at carolina.bbb.org would lay out all the things that are needed of a complainant.
Yes, sir. It's all there. Just follow the prompts, and it's very easy to do.
That's very important. Of course, so many that you talked about ethics in advertising, and really ethics in the marketplace, in the business market. How often are you able to get the word out about some of the needs of providing ethical standards in advertising and in the marketplace, John?
As the president of the Bureau, I have the honor, again, of going out and speaking to community groups, and civic clubs, organizations, and church groups, and any number of situations. And speaking with the public, it used to be when I would talk about ethics in the marketplace, I would look out in the audience, and there were some people that were somewhat dumbfounded. Now, all I have to do is say the words Enron, Tyco, Kenneth Lay. People like that and companies like that now are everyday words, and that's what ethics is not all about. And we're out there trying to protect the community by making people aware of what I call the bad guys. And it's an ongoing process. There's so much unethical behavior going on out there right now.
It is incredible. And you mentioned those names, and you think about those folks, and I think I saw here in front of you, you know, the names and those kind of numbers.
Sure.
Some of those folks. Kenneth Lay, diverting $152 million of company money to himself personally, and, of course, the WorldCom guy, the Adelphia Cable Company, which has an impact in our community. There's a big Adelphia chapter up in Scotland County.
Right.
And in that area, and to think about the kind of money that was moved into personal coffers.
Billions of dollars.
That guy was getting $1 million a month. Literally $1 million a month. Their CEO there. That's right.
Greg, we're in the wrong business.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we're in the ethical business, John.
I'm glad to be in the ethical business. I'm very proud to be a part of the Better Business Bureau of Coastal Carolina. We do a lot of good work out there, and we have some wonderful members. I'm happy to be here.
John, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with John Trudeau coming up next. The phone number is real simple, 1-800-968-6022. Anywhere in these 15 counties, anywhere in the Carolinas, you can call or you can go online at carolina.bbb.org. Take the time, go online, learn a little bit about the Better Business Bureau, how it impacts your community. If you haven't taken advantage of them, take advantage of them. There's opportunities that you would never be aware of. Spend a little time online or give them a call. You'd be amazed. If you sat here the last 30 minutes, you'd understand it's 4 simple words. Ethics in the marketplace. Self-regulation, keeping folks in line. And it's very important. Ethics in the marketplace. I hope you've been here.